Hello, viewing audience. This is KDot with the ASOS podcast. Just a friendly reminder to like, comment, subscribe, and share our shit. I mean, only if you like it. But you're gonna like it, so just feel free to pause this video right here, right now. Take the time to go do that shit, and then come right on back. So feel free to pause me just right now. Now you're back, and we want to thank you there for that. We love you as far as this family, and hopefully one day with enough of those likes, comments, and shares, I'll be sitting here in front of you, maybe with a little partnership, some advertising, maybe with a reputable company like Get Roman, helping you with your erectile dysfunction, or maybe Fleshlight, helping you with those lonely nights, crack cocaine, just because it's awesome, or Skillshare, learn new skills and make discoveries every day. Regardless, whatever it is, it tickles your guys' fancy, floats your boat, or lines these pockets is exactly what it is that we're looking for, and we want to thank you there for helping us get that. So, thanks. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to All Sorts of Sports.
All sorts of sports.
Sports.
All sorts of sports.
Y'all gonna talk through that.
Sorts of sports.
I can't even get through. All right. Episode 65.
65.
Who wears number 65?
I don't know why we're never prepared for this part of it when we all know it's going to come.
Yep. Every time.
Wasn't Samuel Dallenberg 65 or something?
Who the fuck is that?
Scrub center for
the Sixers?
Yeah.
Sammy D? Oh, yeah, that's funny. Nah, I don't think he was 65.
I don't know why he was the first name that popped up in my head.
I thought you were going to say like Eric Dampier or something.
Yeah, he didn't even, I was just like up Sam Dallenberg. He never came even close.
Yeah, he's like what, number one or some shit?
Yeah, it was like 1 and 11 and 10. It's like he's never gone past 11.
What did you get 65 from? All right. So originally we were going to start off with a discussion from Kadeen in regards to soccer, but
Elvin Bethea, defensive end for the Houston Oilers.
Okay.
Like for some of these numbers,
we're just gonna put like Floyd Mayweather, Babe Ruth, Jake Paul, Aaron Rodgers on the cover.
Yeah, but there's always one in the background. It's a big deal.
All right, in the background, just put.
I realized I spent so much goddamn time on the thumbnail, and you can barely see any of the intricate details and stuff that I work on. So maybe I'm gonna stop putting so much time and effort into them.
But I appreciate them. I look at them.
Most days I hate them.
I look at them for a long time to make sure I haven't missed anything.
All right. So originally we were gonna start off with a soccer take, but some shit happened today in regards to what happened at Manchester United. There was a massive protest that postponed the Liverpool Man United game. Today, people were pissed off about the Glazers family, the family that owns the team, and you've seen the hashtags Glazer out. I saw some of the security people getting beat up, and they were smiling with like cuts on their face and shit. I was like, all right, they don't want them here either.
Yeah, I'm taking this beating for a cause.
But yeah, Ryan, like, did you hear anything about this?
I mean, I just saw what was on the news, and only briefly because I was on the road for most of the day. But I saw that they were protesting outside. They eventually ended up breaking into the stadium and continuing their protest inside. I saw that the corner flag had quite the day. The corner flag was stolen and then paraded around the greater London area. I mean, look, I don't like violent protesting at all, but like, it's shitty. This fans feel like they got stabbed in the back, and it's by the owners, by the people who manage the club. So
I heard the Glazers took out a loan to purchase the team, and they never actually put any any dollars into it. They just been using transfers from like the profits from the club, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like owning a house and never having to pay for the mortgage.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really have the same respect for it as if it's something that you own. So, look, I mean, I hate Man United, so I'm glad they're a bit in turmoil, but also, it's how you get stuff done. Don't give them their dollars. Don't give them your eyeballs. Get them the fuck out.
All right. So let's move on to KDot's soccer discussion. KDot, the floor is yours.
All right. So after our discussion, what was it, 2 episodes ago? Last episode about the Super League, the soccer Super League. I've had more discussions with more people. And it's clear that I don't know a lot about soccer, but there's clear that shut up. It's clear. Don't need you fucking ad-libbing what I'm saying.
I'm just trying to help you. I'm your hype man right now.
I don't need a hype man for this shit. All right. I don't need you fucking Flavor Flav looking motherfucker. I don't need you. All right? Get this done. All right.
Go ahead. Continue.
Hype my shit up. At
no
least
shit.
hype
Go
me
ahead.
on the good. Fuck you. Look, but here's the thing that I think resonated with a lot of people is that speaking as a soccer fan, not a soccer fan, speaking as an American who's not necessarily a soccer fan, but is not completely diametrically opposed to being a soccer fan, but see these barriers that get me to wanting to get involved. Now, this being said, that if we solve all these things, I still might not give a fuck. But let's see. Now, the thing that got pushed back from me as far as talking about the soccer league was everybody talking about the regulation aspect of things or how you could have a small town in this league and they always want a chance and this, that, and the other. So what I did was I got really, really high about a week ago, and I was having a conversation with Brendan on the phone about, all right, what are the 5 major soccer leagues in Europe? So went through them, and what is it? It's the Premier, Series A, Serie A. I took 7 years of French, still don't know. Serie A.
That's Italian.
Oh, that's what that is? Yeah, Ligue 1 is French.
Yeah.
There you go.
La Liga and Bundesliga. Got it? So what I also did from there is I started looking at, all right, how many... What? Serie A, it's all fucking the same thing to me, and I ain't American. Fucking... I can smell a baguette on half of these goddamn things. I saw, 4 out of the 5 leagues have 20 teams, and then you have Bundesliga has 18 teams. And what I also did was I took a look at all the champions of each of those leagues since 95. And here's what I found out. In the Premier League since 95, there have only been 5 champions, 5 different team champions. Man U clearing up everybody with 12, followed by Man City, and then Arsenal, Leicester, and Chelsea. Then you have Serie A. Serie A. You've got 5 teams as well. Juventus, AC Milan, Inter Milan, AS Roma, and Lazio slipped through with 1. Then Ligue 1, PSG 8, Lyon 7, and it like splits. There was a bunch of different things, especially early on, with a bunch of different teams of winning. La Liga 5, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Valencia, Deportivo del Corona, whatever the fuck. And then Bundesliga, which had Bayern Munich 17, which now I know why Mauricio's a fucking fan, front runner piece of shit. And then Borussia Dortmund.
Borussia Dortmund.
And then Kaiserslautern, Bremen, Stuttgart, and Wolfsburg, which I feel is like if you say those things in a row, Hitler reincarnates. So
wow.
So when I was looking at it, I'm like, all right, so when people are talking about that aspect of like you want to be that small town team that makes it to somewhere, when I'm realizing that parity doesn't really exist in this league. Because then if you look by comparison to something like the NFL, right? Which if I look, don't interrupt me. The aspect of like the NFL, which I look from 95, and you've got New England, Denver, New York, Green Bay, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Kansas City, Philadelphia, Seattle, New Orleans, Indianapolis, St. Louis, Dallas, and San Francisco. Which speaks to me as far as like when you're in the NFL, any team really has a shot if you go on a run. What it seems to me with these leagues in Europe, because I hear the same complaints from everybody, is that the big clubs buy up the small guys. They always have the most money. They always have the best team. They always have the most talent. And my thing is that they're serving you false hope in the sense of your team can make it anywhere.
And I think that when we're talking about the Super League, I was looking at Champions League and how many winners that came out of there, and that showed true parity. Because you look at the amount of leagues, they've had 13 different teams have won in the Champions League. So in the Champions League, as I've been told, it's just a tournament, not necessarily a full-blown league. But right. I'm looking at, all right, if you did have that full-blown league with 20 teams or so in it, right? This is the cream of the crop. You allow those guys to put the best product in the world out on the field. And what it also allows, if they don't have to play those smaller clubs, is you can have more parity when it comes to the other leagues. And if you have the more parity with the other leagues, to me, it would make it more entertaining. And not only more entertaining, the likelihood that you have a team that can actually make it to the championship in your respective league in your home country becomes increased, and there's a better likelihood of that happening. So my thing is, like, everybody keeps doing this pushback to it, but I mean, shit. If you're some small town club in any one of these leagues, you can see you don't really have a fucking shot because the big dogs have the fucking money, the big dogs have the talent. But if you separate them out and you get the opportunity for actually a league where there can be parity and competition, then maybe you have something that doesn't spit in the face of your tradition. It just allows you to actually legitimately have a shot, and also to make it a product that's easier to understand and easier to get. And then even if you did that, maybe you can have a better system as far as a farm system and as far as how it is you're going to split money, because it's easier to do so if you can't look at those teams you're playing as competition. They're no longer competition. They become something else. And I just think that if people have that sort of mindset going into this thing, there's a likelihood that we can actually have something of it. I just think that there was more pushback in the sense that we're never changing anything compared to which are the ways in which this will work, which is always appreciated. What Ryan had to say when we were talking about it last time was that, hey, I'm not completely anti against it, but this is the way they fucked up. And I get that. Like, that's the kind of energy that I want compared to people that are saying absolutely not. It reminds me of like American leagues way back when, because if you start looking at a lot of like baseball or football, you got like the Yankees will go on a 12-year run that nobody can fucking stop in Major League Baseball, right? You got in football, you got the Cleveland Browns, a piece of shit organization right now. Well, they're coming back. You got Otto Graham will win how many championships in a row? It just feels as though they need to evolve their leagues and their sport compared to what it is that I think America, for the most part, the business aspect and the parity aspect, we've perfected this shit. And I think other leagues should really, really get into it. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
I have a question. Well, I have three questions for you, KDot.
I might have answers.
I know. So in your spiel just now, you said that it'll make it easier to understand. I'm trying to figure out, like, what do you mean by that? How?
So when you guys talk about soccer, and a lot of times when I'm here, y'all talk about like, all right, La Liga's playing this, Champions playing this, there's the World Cup here, there's this league that's doing this, there's that cup that's doing that. I never know what matters. Like, I never know what championship or what thing matters more than any other thing. It's just wherever anybody's heart's in line. And it's just too much shit happening. Like, if it was simplified in the sense of, like, if you got front-runner assholes like Mauricio that's a Bayern fan, that they could play in this league with topper echelon talent, which would make sense to me. Like, when I'm looking at some of these leagues, and I have no idea if Bayern's playing a team that's worth a damn or not when they're fucking dominating half the goddamn. Like, I don't know. I just feel as though it's kind of unfair sometimes too, which even adds to my confusion in the sense of, like, in soccer, it almost seems as though you have like a D1 school coming up against a D3 school in the sense of the amount of money that's coming up against it or the amount of talent that's going to be on the team. It just doesn't feel right.
Okay. So you're saying that in your like example, you want the teams to not play in their leagues anymore, to create an own separate league and leave okay.
Yes, and I think that Ryan's onto something as far as, like, you guys have said that exists right now, is that you have teams that could do it X amount of things to make it in the Champions League or make it into the echelon. I think that there's something that needs to exist in that because, something that gives a team a real opportunity. So not that, hey, you played well for a year, here you go in. Maybe it's something that's sustained over a period of time. Maybe it's something where after you sustain it for a period of time, you get financial incentive, financial help. Maybe you have something like that. But I also think when you're talking about this league, it's going to be more along the lines of the NFL in the sense of you're always going to be looking to expand. Soccer is a worldwide sport. So I don't think you're going to have situations where a lot of these guys get removed from the league ever. I think you're going to add teams to the league. Like, hey, have you had sustained success? Have you shown that you can make money? Welcome. And when you're talking about the owners, like the Glazers and all these other assholes that look for any sort of way to scrape and make by with money, you have salary cap minimums that are fair compared to the revenue that's coming in. And not to mention, when you have this one league, it makes it a lot easier to figure out that revenue split. It makes it a lot easier to try to figure out where it is the money's coming in and how it is they're going to share it.
All right. So my next question to you would be, based on all the pushback from the fans who put the money in the pockets of everybody, don't you think it just makes more sense to revamp the Champions League in itself rather than try to create its own league?
Yeah, if the Champions League could become an actual league, yeah, I think that there's room for that. But it's the idea that you have an exclusive league where you're playing the topper echelon talent. I think when it comes to the fan pushback, look, I give Europeans a lot of credit for fighting for what it is they believe in, but I also think that a lot of times what they're doing is fighting for tradition and pomp and circumstance in a lot of places where it doesn't necessarily need to be. Like, I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but there is this sort of element where if you have different American sports teams, right? Most of our teams are fairly new overall. Like, if we're looking at generationally, the most you might have is your granddad, grandma might have rooted for the same team. Like, you talk about two generations and stuff, compared to in England where you have some of these teams that are so built into the fabric of who it is that these people are. Because you talk about leagues that are 100 years old, that have multi-generations, that you were raised this way. There is going to be pushback to anything that kind of disrupts that process. But there has to be an element of, hey, it ain't all about me, and we've got to figure out a new way or a better way to expand. I think that there's a certain element that people are holding on to that they don't need to. Because they have, like, I'm on the podcast saying all the time, I think fandom's pretty stupid, right? The Europeans take it to another level in the sense of how much these teams mean to them. It almost is something like some sci-fi movie where I think 100 years from now, wars are not going to be settled on the fucking battlefield as much as they'll be settled through what it is that people are playing soccer-wise, because, I mean, that's tied up in your identity more than anything nationally. Shit. These motherfuckers,
they used to play chess to settle wars.
It'll be a fucking soccer match. Like they're it's so ingrained in the very fabric of who somebody is.
But like, and if you look at like 100 years ago, like teams that are now in like the third or fourth tier in English football were like the dominant teams, like Wimbledon. Wimbledon has like one of the most storied soccer franchises, and most people who just casually watch soccer probably have never heard of them. Yep. But Wimbledon used to be up in the top flight, like winning 100 years ago, like before cameras and stuff. So there's not a whole lot of documentation. But like most recently, because of the fact that it's just money based, so like you used to be able to organically grow your team, right?
Yes.
So you'd be like, oh, there's an 8-year-old and he's really good, so let's keep an eye on him because he lives down the street, you know, at his mom's house. And then like when he's 15, you're like, yeah, it's still really good. Come play for us. We'll pay you 10 pence or whatever. And then
6 pence, none the richer.
6 pence, none the richer. Kiss me. But now the money is to the point where like, oh, you want Erling Haaland? It's gonna cost you $250 million. It's not gonna cost you, you know, that there's that kind of money in the league. And so the only way to do it now to give anybody else a chance would be some sort of profit sharing incentive, and honestly, salary caps, which would allow for like the smaller teams, like they might have the player an extra year or two to do well because, you know, Man U is at their cap with the players that they already have. Like, I don't know how to do it, but there's definitely a way in which you either revamp the champions or make a super league to give like the other guys a chance. So if Real Madrid's no longer playing in La Liga, maybe get like, I don't know, is Celta Vigo still a fucking team? Maybe they get a chance because you're not getting a chance to what? You're not getting crushed by Real Madrid every time you play them.
You have a chance to win your prospective league.
Now, all right, so let me ask you this question. What happens to all the revenue that's gone when those team leaves?
It changes. So like that's the thing is that you have a certain element of almost communism or socialism that exists in the soccer realm, which is that, hey, because these big teams exist, these little teams should be able to allow to exist as well. But I think there's got to be a certain portion of like, it ain't our real responsibility. Because I think there's a different, as soon as money gets involved and it's a for-profit thing, that you have to think about it like a business. And the business aspect runs diametrically opposed to a lot of what it is we're socialists talking about. It's like the NFL and the NBA. And NBA probably got a better suited out than the NFL. But the NFL right now, as far as the way the league is run, as far as the way the salary cap is run, as far as the way the revenue split is run, is all good. The only time you get a problem with the owners is the way that they're splitting the revenue with the players. Like the salary cap should be higher, but they have everything else
by team basis.
It's perfectly set, and I think that that's where you have a model in which you could say this is the way you do certain things different. But I think as soon as you're talking about profit, it's the same thing we've talked about when it comes to even the NFL. You're no longer really rooting for your team as much as you're rooting for a logo. Because a lot of these guys, like how many Washington jerseys I got in my closet right now of former fucking players? Because it's a money thing. It's the fucking mercenaries. It ain't the old school way where you had one guy to spend 20 years with the one team. And this is, I'm rooting for this squad, ride or die, because there's no such thing as free agency. No, the motherfuckers are mercenaries. And I think that that's what you have to look at it. Unless you're going to have a publicly funded league owned by the players or owned by the people of a town, that they all make democratic decisions on what's happening with the team, or even closer to what the Green Bay Packers do.
About to say the Packers.
Then my thing is that you got to kind of remove. You don't own shit. You don't have no say. It's a fucking business.
Yeah, and also at this point the players are basically rentals until they get too expensive, or you need to move on. And actually, if you look at jersey sales, unless you're like the Kevin Durant's or Russell Wilson's or Patty Mahomes, like the majority of people who buy jerseys, aside from those players, are buying like Sammy Paw jerseys or, LeVar Arrington, like people who are clearly no longer on the team, because you buy it and you can wear that for a decade. Like if I went and got a fucking, well, I have a Ryan Kerrigan jersey, but like
I do too. So I'm holding on to it.
There's like 90 jerseys you could buy that next year,
absolutely,
they're probably not going to play on your team, and that's super frustrating. At what, like $290 for an official jersey,
Michael Finley.
So it's
we're fucking marks, man. And I think that in Europe, the only thing is that like the Wolves pulled over so many people's eyes with that tradition and what that means to be a member of the team, that it's dog. You're a mark. You're a dollar and a cent to what the organization is made. I mean, like if you want to, how about we reinvigorate what it means to play in the Olympics or the World Cup, or create something where it's like, hey, create a league of like certain townships and it's funded by us. And maybe you can have pride that way. But look, as soon as you're a player and you're like, so I can either play for my hometown and not get shit, or go over there and make a couple $100 million, I'm going to go over there and make a couple $100 million. Ain't no one going to blame him for it. But it's the way it is.
And I think the only other issue, obviously you have to figure out, how does this Super League benefit the smaller teams? Mm-hmm. Also, a lot of those smaller teams, so you said you didn't understand like what, there's like 8 different championships like within the leagues themselves. A lot of those are built so that, third tier Millwall at their stadium that houses, 1,500 fans, like every 2 or 3 years, they play Man City at home
and get a shit ton of
money. They get a fuck ton of money. So that kind of revenue, they would have to figure out how to get those tournaments still to be able to be played, because they're domestic tournaments.
Or not.
Just because they rely so heavily on them. Or if you don't do that,
you don't have a team that's financially solvent.
Yeah. Well,
you don't really necessarily need to exist.
A lot of those teams, their players,
not like
a day job. One of my favorite guys ever was like 400 pounds. He was a goalie. He was 52. And I'm pretty sure he was like a welder, like professional welder, and their starting goalie. And he ate a meat pie on the sideline.
Every time that we're talking about it, it goes back to what you feel in your heart.
Yeah. No, you're right.
It's just, you gotta separate it. You gotta separate it.
Also, it took me like a decade.
That's what makes soccer, though. You don't separate it.
But here's the thing: is that I just think you guys are in for a rude awakening.
Because new poster? Is that a new poster behind your head?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been up there for a few weeks.
Oh, I just noticed it.
I think people are kind of lying to themselves. Don't worry about it. The
I thought it was in my house. Is that in your house? Oh, there's nobody here.
That's what I was like.
I'm hearing stuff that I think is somebody in my house.
I was like, you got a clown up there, bro?
I was like, I have to go investigate. I might be murdered.
Y'all keep talking. I'll make a phone call while I'm right here on the camera. I'm gonna mute it.
We're about to move on though.
Yeah,
all right, move on. I'm just gonna
okay.
Do your transition.
It's a fucking
that was nuts.
full show.
Yeah. All right.
And
you want to know what else a full show was?
Clogging upstairs.
That clogging commercial was hilarious. All right. So this weekend,
There actually may still be somebody in my house, and I still hear stuff, and he's muted. If this door opens, it's gonna be the best pod we've ever done.
I don't know, man.
There's nobody here.
All right.
I stay at it.
Well, didn't the alarm go off or some shit?
I wouldn't be able to hear it.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
whatever. Here we are.
All right. So the NFL draft happened this weekend. We already reacted to round one.
Yeah.
I was pretty upset.
The last round.
I was pretty upset after round one. But
where? Why?
Yeah. Oh, because
you took the 70th best pick.
Actually, the reports are coming out now, which I don't know if to believe it or not, but they were saying
the
teams
are changing the narrative.
Nah, it was they were saying that the Ravens were supposed to take Leatherwood at 27. I think they had their pick, but Leatherwood. But it is neither here nor there. But the second round, we picked up the safety that I wanted in the first round, which is kind of cool. So, I mean, if you swap the picks, like, I'm not upset at all. Anyways, it is. We got starting right tackle. We got starting safety. We got a shit ton of pieces for defense, which we desperately needed. So, I mean, I'm happy about the draft. I just hope the players work out. So,
yeah,
I give my team a B.
I think this is the KDot take, but I think after this particular draft, I understand it. It's like, I'm glad you're 6'7" and you had a great 2 years at Vanderbilt or Miami or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're a good professional football player yet.
Yeah. Because
you never played a professional football game. Other than what you see visually in highlights, I don't know if you got like a failing kidney or, a knee that's one season from collapsing, right? Like, well,
they got the medicals, but
right. But you see what I'm saying? There's nothing to say that the Bills' first pick, the Russo guy, there's nothing to say that he is going to be a great football player other than he played well in college. Like, that's 2 years. Your football career is supposed to be like,
I mean, it's all projected.
Well, I know. So like, even if I'm like, that pick sucks, I'm like, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I know that I should not.
We got the kid from VTech, Diablo.
I know. I love Diablo and I love his name. Yeah. It's going to be awesome.
Divine Diablo. Okay. Well, he's going to play linebacker.
I will get his jersey.
Oh, cool. So you have a Raiders jersey.
I have his Tech jersey.
You going to get a Raiders jersey?
I mean, I get jerseys from a lot of players who
All right, awesome.
Play at other teams. So
you can set that right next to your Justin Herbert signed helmet jersey that you'll be getting. I mean, signed helmet you'll be getting.
Can't wait.
All right. So is that like what grade would you give the Bills?
Probably like a B+. Like they filled the holes that I thought they needed to fill: cornerback, defensive end, linebacker. There's just there's no flashy picks, right? Yeah. But we didn't really need a flashy pick. I wanted one, which would have bumped them up to an A. But like it was a very solid, smart, don't go reaching, don't go chasing waterfalls, rivers and lakes. It was a very rivers and lakes draft. And look, that's what we needed. They filled those holes. We still have Josh Allen.
Fair.
Like he's the only piece
that you need.
That you really need, because it's the hardest, hardest position to play. They filled the spaces around. The spaces between Dave Matthews.
All right, fine. All right.
I love that song.
No.
Oh, it came on the radio when I was driving home, dude. Oh, so good.
All right, KDot. How do you feel about the Washington football team picks? Stop singing.
Find you hiding away.
Stop singing. Please.
Great song.
Stop singing.
You like Dave Matthews, James?
No.
Ants go march. No, I'm sorry. I loved Washington's draft. I absolutely loved it. I loved it from beginning to end. Night one, you guys heard right here when we did Jamin Davis. Love that pick as far as the versatility he brings a linebacker. I know a lot of people are looking at JOK, the linebacker from Notre Dame. That's a particular part too.
You went second round too. Crazy.
He did. It was crazy that he fell. It made me feel even 60, better. Right? It made me feel even better about the Jamin Davis pick, right? As far as maybe there's just something out there. I mean, I was hearing that a lot of the JOK stuff was that he just is a bit of a tweener, like 215, 20 pounds.
See, but that part kills me because it's kind of like, it'll be like, didn't I say the same shit about Aaron Donald? It's
yeah,
like,
of course. It's all stupid draft stuff, right? Yeah. It's all dumb draft shit. But it's like, but if I'm looking at what Washington's looking at, if they have Cam Curl, Landon Collins playing hybrid roles, you don't necessarily need a third one in that same mold. But if you have a guy who has the body frame that he can play 3 positions at linebacker, and he's got the speed to be a really good coverage linebacker, having him and Cole Holcomb being able to be really fast linebackers behind that front four, to me is just an awesome, awesome feeling. But outside of that, day 2, they went and they got that the tackle out of Texas, which I thought was a decent pick. There's the wide receiver. Oh,
hold on.
Oh no, we lost you for a second.
All right,
you're back.
Dragon.
My family fucking hates me. That's what's happening. Sadly, they're fucking river dancing upstairs.
It sounds like
the Wi-Fi router.
Yeah,
the Washington picks. They're getting A's, A+s.
Yeah, because
almost across the board.
There were hardly any reaches or anything. And then my favorite pick was was Diami Brown. The wide receiver out of North Carolina.
Yeah.
And that was a dude that I remember pre-draft, Chris Sims was like obsessed with him. And there were a couple other guys from like PFF and other things that were just like, hey man, we really think this dude is like second, third best wide receiver and nobody's talking about it. So I mean, I like those kind of guys every once in a while. Plus we already knew wide receiver was pretty deep. What?
Did y'all hear the joke about the never mind. I'm not even gonna ask the question. There was a joke about the Raiders. And it said, Raiders fans, we just drafted Cam Chancellor and Khalil Mack in the 3rd round because we got Diablo from Virginia Tech, and then also the best pass rusher since Khalil Mack from Buffalo in the 3rd round.
Buffalo knows how to produce him, man.
They only got them 2, but that shit was funny.
I think that the best name out of the draft was wasted on Washington. Why Green Bay did not draft Cheeseman? My fucking mind. What an opportunity.
Cheeseman.
He doesn't work out. He becomes the mascot.
Like Divine Diablo is kind of up there.
This man's name is Cameron Cheeseman.
No one's calling him Cheeseman.
Divine Diablo?
Cheeseman, bro. Cheeseman.
Divine Diablo.
I'm saying Green Bay are the cheese heads. And this would be the lead cheese and the cheese man.
Well, look, he'll go there as a free agent.
Probably.
Look, the same way you got John Gruden is just attracted to certain names that sound tough. I think.
Oh my
Green
God,
Bay,
Diablo is a tough motherfucker.
The Alex Leatherwood thing.
Yeah, easy.
That might go down in history. No, with you. For you
Leatherface.
saying it as a joke and it happened.
But Green Bay drafting an Aaron Rodgers, if I'm not mistaken. They drafted a wide receiver, Aaron Rodgers or A. Rodgers.
2nd round?
Yeah. If they had drafted a cheese man, then it would have literally just been they were trolling Aaron Rodgers.
Joke. Yeah, no.
It's like, oh, there's a receiver here. You want it? Fuck that.
They can now technically lie during pressers. No, Aaron Rodgers is going to be here.
All right. Well,
which one?
Right. Let's transition then. All right. So you brought up Aaron Rodgers. Like the news broke in regards to Aaron Rodgers saying that he doesn't want to be there anymore, and he's not playing for the Packers. So, KDot, you go ahead and go first. Anything you got to say?
Lots. I mean, shoot, we tried to just do a little snippet of the Aaron Rodgers thing on the last draft episode, and we ended up going a lot longer. Even the other podcast that I do that James is rivaling with, Dish Divided, started as like a little blurb about Aaron Rodgers, and then there I go 20 minutes later just ripping on Aaron Rodgers. Here's what I want to make clear. So I want to start with what's happening right now with Aaron, and then I if you guys will allow me afterwards to just say like a quick few seconds on something.
Just go ahead.
All right, so
you have the floor, my friend.
Aaron Rodgers. Everybody knows I'm very opinion when it comes to Aaron, and there are multiple episodes you can look up where it's just me basically trashing him. He is an extremely frustrating person to me. The reason he's frustrating is that in almost every facet, Aaron Rodgers is a guy that I love. He's into the same shit that I'm into. I think we have the same sense of humor. Like, if we were dating profiles, I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it. Like, we'd match immediately.
You'd match on Tinder, yeah.
We'd match immediately, right? But there are certain aspects of Aaron that makes me upset, which is that I think that he has the athletic talent, probably better than any quarterback that's ever existed in the history of NFL. His arm, his legs, his ability to read defenses, the angles in which he can make the throw, his straight up disregard of forgetting about what happened last play and just going balls out the next time are all things like you want in anybody. I think some of those facets he's better than Tom Brady, like I said, of all time. Mm-hmm. I think what fucks me up is that there are certain elements of Aaron Rodgers' game that I look at and I'm like, man, I wish you could improve on that. And while I understand, I'm not in the locker room, I don't know everything that happens. But when I see certain body language from you on the sideline, I'm like, all right, I don't like what I'm seeing. When I'm noticing that everybody's basically treating him as though he's the second coming or the Messiah, and I'm like, no, man, you missed some passes in a lot of these games. And I'll be the first to admit, well, not the first to admit, I was the last one to admit, Green Bay did a shitty job providing you a defense, providing Aaron a defense to win championships. They did. Offense. Now, the thing that I've noticed is that, like, in 2010 when they won the championship, that defense had a lot to do with it. And I think that that's what they've been trying to do is couple a defense with that offense to see what it is they could do. Aaron has made some bad throws in a lot of big games. But if you look through almost every one of those losses, except for one or two in those playoffs, it's the defense to blow the hood off. Or they do something in the last one where Aaron doesn't even have an opportunity to do that fourth quarter comeback because they let a team go on a 15-play drive to just eat the clock up.
Mm-hmm. But defense wins championships,
right? But here's the
trademark that.
But I think there is a part of me that thinks that the grass is not necessarily green on the other side when it comes to the way the organization is run. I just think that it's a situation where you have extremely stubborn people all trying to communicate right now, and it's kind of blowing up in the head. I think Aaron, over time, has been an extremely hard person to communicate with. I think he has a sense of humor that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. I think if you look at the way he even came to the league, his relationship with Brett Favre and the I forget what the backup, Craig Nall, I think was the backup. The way that which his humor just rubbed people the wrong way or other people's humor rubs him the wrong way. The fact is that he holds grudges. He does. The fact that he never forgets. The fact that he is petty in a lot of ways, in the way he talks about certain guys in press conferences where passive aggressively or not, oh, he's talking about you, guy, and he's calling you the fuck out.
Not naming names, but we just watched the game.
Right.
So.
Like, you can see all those situations and those things where I'm like, I'm looking at what's happening right now, and I say, Aaron wants out of Green Bay. Mm-hmm. Do I think that a lot of organizations would treat Aaron Rodgers the same way that he got treated in Green Bay? No, but I also think Green Bay has treated Aaron Rodgers phenomenally. I think if you're looking at the fans, you look at the front office, you're looking at an organization, especially an organization that is not ran by billionaires that don't have somebody that can do the final say or say, we're going to go after this guy, we're going to go after that guy. There is an element that I haven't seen a team or an organization rally around a guy as much as they have for him. But I also think it hasn't always been reciprocated from him in the sense of the way that he treats the front staff, the way he treats the coaching staff, the way he treats some other players. At least from what I'm seeing. Once again, I'm not in the locker room.
Okay.
But if it's Aaron Rodgers wants to get out of Green Bay because they can't put together a defense, if that's the narrative, I'm with you. I'm with you 110%.
Yeah, I have 4 years left.
I disagree with the offense, and I'm going to disagree with the offense here, and this is why.
Okay.
People are looking at where it is they drafted certain guys to work out on the offense. Mm-hmm. knowing that once again, the draft is a crapshoot. And as much as you can draft offensive players, they might not work out. Here's the thing for Green Bay. They've tried to put together a defense by drafting players, and guess what? Those defensive players haven't worked out. So you can flip it from defensive back to wide receiver. You can give Aaron Rodgers another wide receiver. If he doesn't get the ball in the fourth quarter because the defense doesn't get him the ball, it won't matter. And if you look across the NFL, give me Devontae Adams as a wide receiver number one against almost any wide receiver tandems in the NFL. Give me an Aaron Jones in the backfield with Devontae Adams sitting right there outside. I'd take that over 90% of the goddamn offenses in the league. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is that, like, they have gotten offense that can win. Mm-hmm. It's whether or not the defense is good enough to do it. And I think that the Green Bay has actually tried to put together a defense for him. And it won't get right. It almost, there's shades of the Indianapolis when you had Peyton Manning back in the early 2000s.
Indy now? The defense
no, not Indy now. But the
Oof.
thing with Indy was that it took, where was Bob Sanders drafted?
I have no clue.
I didn't think he was either undrafted or was like 6th, 7th round.
But man, that fucker could hit.
Boy, could play. Dwight Freeney, I think was a high draft pick. And then you had like Robert Mathis, who wasn't. Mm-hmm. Their defense just came out of nowhere. Where was it good enough to make some shit happen? And I think Green Bay has shown flashes with certain. Ha-Ha Clinton Dix looked good for a year. Nick Collins looked good for a few years. I mean, you look through the mid-2000s, the 2010s, those motherfuckers had A.J. Hawk, Clay Matthews on the same goddamn defense. The same one Charles Woodson was standing back there on corner. Like, they had some defenses come through.
Charles wasn't there for that long.
A.J. Hawk, wasn't he the one that had Clay Matthews' hair? They looked the same.
Yeah, they just looked like the fucking Road Warriors from the WWF. Like, it was, but they had some guy. B.J. Raji put together some damn good seasons to the inside.
Yeah.
So I don't want the narrative to be, hey, this is what if you tell me that
when they had that, that's when they won.
The 1 year. But the thing is that defense did last more than 1 year. They just couldn't get back. And I say that everyone in that organization is responsible for that. Aaron included. They're all responsible for not winning more than one championship.
I don't think he would say he would. He isn't, though.
But I think the narrative that exists right now has been Green Bay, what the fuck are you doing? Satiate Aaron. And I think they have. I just think right now it's just a personality clash more than anything else.
I mean, all right. When you see the stat saying like they have yet to draft a first round like wide receiver since he's been there, doesn't that like make you feel like what the fuck?
No, because if I'm really looking at it, how many first round wide receivers are bust? I think wide receiver is probably the biggest first round bust.
If they're looking at their team and they're like, well, if we're looking at the stats, the reason we lost 7 games last year was because the opposition had the ball for like 70% of the game because our defense was not playing well.
They have 40 points to Atlanta.
We have Aaron Rodgers. So we can.
That's what free agency is.
But there's another angle to it, which is you have a team with Aaron Rodgers that are always predominantly NFC North champions going into the playoffs at 13-3, 14-2, 51, whatever, right? Yeah. That when draft time comes, where are they picking? 28th, 30th? So when you're talking about that with wide receiver, so this is what I'm saying is that like
move up, draft a wide receiver, and if
once again, if you draft a wide receiver when the biggest issue on that team is defense, it's been the defense. If you can't, it's not just
no. I agree.
But Aaron has not made certain throws when he needed to make them. But I just want overall. Look, I don't hate Aaron Rodgers, and I think I've come across as a hater of him. I've come across as a dickhead. There's been sometimes I've absolutely said the wrong things when it comes to him, and I apologize for those things. I think that Aaron, to me, is one of those guys that frustrates me because of how much I want to love him. And it's just a matter of, I think the same thing that Brennan used to get, I used to get pissed off with Brennan on the way that Brett Favre left Green Bay, and how I saw the fandom basically turn their backs on this guy that carried the entire franchise for 20 years. And even right now, I'm seeing there's the national narrative that's happening about Green Bay and what Aaron Rodgers is happening. And then there's what Green Bay Packers fans are talking about. And they are two different things. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. There are a lot of Green Bay Packers fans that are like, dude, we've done everything we possibly can for you. Like, what do you want more from us? You've gotten paid. You've gotten this. You've gotten that. What the fuck? And
there's unlimited cheese.
I'm looking at that offense over the years, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. You want a second wide receiver, right? But what they always need to do is put together defense, and they've tried. They have tried. Even look at the free agency they picked up, Preston Smith from Washington. He had a breakout season the following season. Then last season, he kind of regressed until the end of the year. They've spent money. It's just that they haven't gone to get the flashy names. But that's the same thing with New England. That's the same thing with Pittsburgh. That's the same thing with a lot of the best ran organizations. Somebody told me Seattle. Well, Seattle has 2 elite wide receivers. Doug Baldwin was undrafted. He happened to work out. And DK Metcalf, you took a flyer on him in the end of the first round. But a lot of people thought he was going to be a fucking bust. You never know.
He just had spinal surgery. They didn't know if he'd be able to walk again.
N'Keal Harry's out there in New England, and they couldn't do jack with him. I'm just saying that, like, I think people are being unfair to the organization. They're being unfair. I think I've been unfair to Aaron to a certain degree, but I think everybody needs to know they're all at fault. One Super Bowl for the amount of talent that has come through Green Bay in the last how many years is a travesty.
And
it
also,
is a fucking travesty.
Had to deal with Tom Brady though.
The defense.
They never had to deal with Tom Brady. What are you talking? They never had to deal with Tom Brady until last year.
Fair.
They've never had to deal with Tom Brady.
Their defense aside,
Trying to throw him a bone here.
Don't throw him a bone.
In clutch moments,
I'm
in
trying
the clutch
to help.
games, he just isn't clutch. And you'd see the mistakes that make them, the mistakes that they lose with are, yes, because
I remember a couple.
The defense is not great, but he's also making some poor decisions in those clutch moments that he doesn't even, you wouldn't even expect him to make it all in the regular season because he doesn't. He gets 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, and like no defensive back even sniffs the ball. And then he just throws the ball at a DB in the end zone in the second week of the playoffs. Like he does things that he otherwise you would not expect him to do. And then the defense doesn't get him the ball back. If they had a better defense, guess what? They would probably get him the ball back. He would have forgotten about that interception before he got off the field, and they would have another chance to score. So like the issue is he's just as much at fault in those games.
He's a QB,
but overall,
it is what it is.
Overall, like I feel like he does not shoulder that responsibility. He just is like,
and that's what rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Is that almost every other quarterback, when you reach that upper echelon, will literally blame themselves when they're not even at fault. They will be the guys that will jump on that grenade, and I haven't seen Aaron be that guy. Maybe he does behind the scenes. I just haven't seen it. So, I just haven't seen it myself. But I will say this. As far as this situation right here, Aaron Rodgers is never playing another down with Green Bay. I think people need to understand that. He is never playing another down with Green Bay. And if I'm Green Bay, I'm going to swallow my pride on this and try to move on after June 2nd. Because once again, while I think it's messed up that Aaron is putting the Green Bay Packers in this sort of situation, I don't understand the interpersonal dynamics between everybody. Brian Gunquist, whatever the fuck his name is. And it was Mark Murphy's, I think, still there.
Yeah.
Them and in between Aaron as far as interpersonal shit. But to me, it's like you want to ride or die with this team because I think that you guys are both kind of clearly at fault together that you haven't done what it takes to win a championship.
If Aaron goes to the Raiders, my God.
Oh, God.
All right, so.
But hold on, be honest about that. Be honest about that. Aaron goes to the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Is anything on the wide receiving core better than what he has in Devontae Adams? And on offense, is anything better than having Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones in the backfield?
Darren Waller.
Literally.
Darren Waller.
Yeah, Darren Waller's a tight end, and I get that.
And he's top 3.
But would you literally – and Devontae Adams is top 3.
Yeah, we got Josh Jacobs.
Aaron Jones, I'd pick Aaron Jones over Josh Jacobs right now if I had to go play.
It's kind of like, I don't know.
If I had to go, like, if I'm projecting futures, I get it. But if I had to go win a game right now, you told me I could beat Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones.
You got Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. Like, they're great.
They're great.
But we got more pieces. They're not as good, but we have more.
And that's the thing is, but my thing is like, it's questionable. But it's questionable.
More options, and then you have a better offensive mind.
Yeah, but I'll take that top talent more than I'm gonna take like the plethora. I want the top guy because that's another thing.
What is that? All right. So what has that guy?
But what's gotten them is that either Aaron makes a bad throw in the playoffs, or the defense,
or they'll drop the ball.
That has happened.
Okay.
You're saying
was it last year? I think it was the year before.
The Raiders just don't drop balls ever.
Not as much.
Drop the ball.
And actually, I don't hate their wide receiver core.
you.
Lazard, I think Lazard's a pretty good number
stud.
2.
Yeah.
I like Equinemius St. Brown saying his name.
God, I fucking love that goddamn name.
And MVS, like they're not scrubs, man.
Oh yeah,
scrubs.
No.
He has Malcolm Scantling too.
Let me make something completely clear. If you're playing in the NFL, you're not a scrub. Like
that's true.
But even through the guys of what we're talking about,
you're not a scrub. Like if you start, you're not a scrub on any level.
Fair enough.
But I always say it like
we are just lawn chair QBs. That's it.
That's true. But here's the thing, and I know that this is biased because I'm a huge Mets fan, but Jacob deGrom is the best pitcher in baseball, bar none.
Okay.
But he doesn't get any run support, so he'll lose 1-0, right?
I've seen those.
Every time he has a press conference, he never talks about not getting run support. He talks about how he wish he hadn't given up that run and other things that he could have done.
Yeah, because what he can control.
Give his team a better chance. He never throws anybody under the bus ever. And that's what a leader does.
And that's the thing where I get frustrated sometimes with Aaron is that if it wasn't for how
Jordan did that.
But here's the thing, if it wasn't for how athletically gifted and talented he is, we would be railroading him a lot harder as a collective than we have been, as far as when he talks about his offensive line or when he's talking about certain guys, or he's even talking about the coaching staff.
Where we pretend like he's not elite and we allow you to do that.
I mean, I've been doing that, but the thing is, like, I also know that while I've been doing that, there's also been my frustration. It's boiled to the surface, and I might say things that are just a little much or a lot of much when it comes to Aaron, and I want to set the record straight there.
All right. Well,
can we hop back to draft real quick?
Okay, go ahead.
Because I said what I thought about Washington, but I was distracting by the fucking Michael Flatley and the Lord of the River Dance upstairs. I loved Chicago's draft, but I also
we didn't talk about that.
Chicago's draft is 100% with Ryan Pace and all those guys. You either hit a home run, or you are all going to be majorly fired next year. This is an all or nothing burger, and I'm all in. I think Justin Fields is. Look, Trevor Lawrence is the most talented quarterback in that draft. I think going to Jacksonville is a death sentence. So. I just want to keep making that firm. Until I see something different with that organization, I'm forever going to think it's a death sentence to go there. But I love Justin Fields. He was my best. He was my favorite quarterback. And I love Tevin Jenkins. I wish I had the quote.
I'm going to attack you.
I like what Cleveland did, too.
That was the quote. He's like, I don't care who you are. I'm going to attack you.
Yeah, this is my favorite. From his pro, Tevin Jenkins, the offensive lineman that I always hype up, right? That I'm hyping up.
From Oklahoma State?
Yes, from his pro day. Here's Bears offensive tackle Tevin Jenkins describing his play. I'm a tough, physical, nasty motherfucker. A dude who does not shy away from hits. A dude who actually wants to get physical. And a dude who wants to bust that guy's ass. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on here. I'm sorry.
Wow.
And dudes, hey, look, if there's something about
awesome.
I know, pardon my
Sounds
take,
like a
they
Raider.
do like the grit Hall of Fame. Like, guys, you just got grit. Like the Mike Dick. That's a Tevin Jack. Like, he's got glasses. He's kind of chubby looking, light skinned guy. He looks like, oh man, you helped me with my math homework. He wants to punch you in the fucking mouth. He's a psycho. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
And they picked up Khalil Herbert from Tech.
I like what the I like what the Browns did, and I also like what the Bears did. So those are my two winners.
And they followed up Justin Fields with drafting a tackle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tevin Jenkins.
Yep. All right, so let's move on to some other news in sports.
Oh, one more thing. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I came too hard at Ryan about the quarterback wide receiver drafting a teammate. And I think that I came off too hard on it because I still have sour grapes about Dwayne Haskins and Terry McLaurin together. But it is cool.
I mean, one worked out.
But here's the thing. It is cool. Seeing like Jamar Chase get drafted. Like, it is cool to see that you're going to have that safety valve. I still think Travis Etienne is kind of a dumb pick unless he's just a home run hitter as far as running back. But I just think James Robinson had too good a year.
The more I thought about it, it's more of we're not in the old NFL. So we have 3 or 4 years to win a championship, or we're all fired and this quarterback's not here anymore. So I think if you're in the win now mentality, your best bet is to pair up your star, your quarterback, with someone he's very, very comfortable with. because worst comes to worst, you lose every fucking game this year. And then next year you figure out, these are the pieces we're missing. Because in 4 years, if it didn't work, it's all dumped. You're restarting. So why not use, if you have the opportunity, why not use that opportunity to make sure that, hey, these are two players, elite players in college, they're together. Why not?
Yeah. All right. Well, Floyd Mayweather and Jake Paul. I'm drunk, so I'm joking.
Floyd Mayweather. Should have stuck with your drunk. So you had a stroke. Got it.
Floyd Mayweather.
Call the ambulance.
Floyd Mayweather and Jake Paul.
I don't even want to dignify it.
There's a part of me that doesn't want to either. Did y'all watch the last fight?
Yes, of course I did. I can't stop.
Which one?
The last Paul fight.
Oh no,
Ben Askren.
I've seen the highlights.
Oh wait, not Ben.
Somebody had it on YouTube. Yeah,
is it the same Paul or the other Paul?
No, it's the other Paul.
Jake,
I don't fucking even know.
No, it's Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul.
Yeah, it's the wrong Paul.
Yeah. Jake Paul is the one who fought Askren.
So Jake Paul is the one that can actually fight.
I think this is his older brother.
No, the older brother Logan is fighting Mayweather. Yes.
Yeah. Which is the one that can fight?
Jake.
Jake can actually fight, but he's not the one fighting Mayweather.
Jake can't even really fight though. But
he trains to fight. Like if he goes against somebody that hasn't fought, he's gonna kick your ass.
He trains his ass off.
He has millions and millions of dollars, and he has hired some of the best trainers in the world.
Like
they were elite. They were elite college athletes.
He's working.
So that's Jake Paul. So if Jake Paul wanted to go against you, he'd kick your ass, not because he's necessarily better than you, but because he had training.
Yeah.
Got it. And so that's the one that should be fighting Floyd.
I mean, wait, are we talking about a boxing match or a street fight?
Boxing match.
Boxing match. All right, cool.
Also,
street fight different.
Oh yeah. Well, come on. I think you murdered fucking Paul, brother. Come on, James. I don't think that low of you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Still pretty low, but not that low.
This is why I carry a gun. I'm not fighting anybody.
The great equalizer.
Yeah. So I had that wrong. It was Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It don't fucking matter either which one. These fucking cash grab bullshit. It's just dumb,
dude. But
this shit's dumb. Why are they making so much money?
They are living so rent-free in everybody's head.
Because look, think about this. Jake Paul, Logan Paul have been on YouTube since forever. They got all these kids that are their fans, right? And then these kids grow up. They got money now, and it's like, oh shit,
that's
Logan
my
Paul,
boy.
Jake Paul. They're fighting. Let me watch. I can convince my parents to give up $30 to watch the fight or $50
at the UFC match, because him and what's his name? Daniel Cormier had been going back and forth on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
At the first match back with fans, obviously Jake Paul is there because he got stupid money, and the entire 100,000 person arena in unison was screaming, "Fuck Jake Paul." He is living rent-free in the minds of millions, and that is why they are going to be fighting Mayweather, because it's going to be $100 million plus event. Like the Ben Askren who got knocked the fuck out by Jake Paul. Ben Askren, who was a UFC fighter and a pretty goddamn good one on main cards.
He had a hip replacement though.
Got more money for that 30-second fight than he ever did in the UFC.
And I think it was Jake Paul that brought that up, and I thought that was good. Like that was the one thing I thought that he did was good.
I mean, like, look, he's a businessman.
Called out Dana White saying like, "Hey, why is it that I, who have no experience in the UFC or anything like that, can make more money in this one fight than all of your fighters combined?"
Yeah. And look,
from business perspective,
and I was like, hey, that was cool to say.
But as long as people, these aren't fights, the fucking entertainment.
Yeah, they're all exhibitions.
But this one might actually be a fight.
No, fuck you. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Floyd's limited to 150 pounds.
Get the fuck out of here. Don't even do that. Because I think what you're doing right now is the same thing that everybody else does, which is you're letting it fucking insidiously get inside your head that there's something legit about this fucking. There's nothing legit about this at all. None of it.
The Pauls have they have gotten into my brain, and this is what they've said.
This is what. God damn it.
I don't fucking leave it.
Look,
I'm never fucking leaving.
I said I'd never pay for another Floyd fight again in my life. Ain't fucking
You did.
doing it. I've never done it. Ever since I said it, I'm not doing it. And then I will never pay to watch the Pauls fight.
Yeah, me
Look,
neither.
Credit
It's on
look,
YouTube.
And
Well,
it's not even a good way I can spin this. It's just a full blown fucking money grab. It's fucking
so-
Floyd Mayweather. He doesn't need the money.
It's genius. It's genius.
I mean, to be honest, at this point, people are having hot takes saying that he does.
The Floyd needs money. Look,
Yeah,
here's what we're doing.
he fought the other kid like in Japan or wherever, like the kickboxer, and he knocked him out like in the fucking 3 minutes.
I think we should be the official podcast of not taking any of the storylines that arise out of this thing and just call it what it is. Complete horseshit. Like this should be anytime that Paul or Mayweather's brought up, we just say in unison, this is bullshit, and we're a part of it because we help with the search engine organization, but we're telling everybody this is just bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do everything in my power not to watch it.
You are 100% gonna watch it.
Yeah,
You're gonna meet up with Mauricio. You're gonna drink
No,
they eat Philly cheesesteaks
at Doug's house and just fucking drink and watch the fucking fight.
Luckily, the last one was the same night as the Usman fight, I think. So
Oh, yeah.
I didn't watch it because
No,
scheduling conflict, not because
Nah,
we didn't.
because Jake Paul was at the Usman fight, right?
Oh yeah. Why
Yeah,
didn't
so-
I watch it then? Oh, maybe I actually just
Maybe you
didn't
did.
watch
You can't
it.
remember.
Yeah.
No,
you
I didn't
did.
watch it.
Oh no, I watched it on Twitter. That shit was funny. People
I'm
were
not
killing it.
watching this shit.
No, I'm saying I was watching people.
Guys, let's make a pact right now. We're not gonna watch that fight.
Of course, I'm not watching. I'm not paying for that shit.
I gotta break this pact.
Brian's 100% watching the goddamn fight. He's already believing into. He's already buying into it.
You can't help it. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, you
I'm
know,
sorry.
it might actually
Look,
be you fucking ass.
Just look at the last one. Just look at the last one and how they had all these stupid ass performances.
I
And
didn't.
no boxing.
I didn't.
All right, fine. All right, so the final
I'm not
thing we
fucking
got.
leaving.
The final thing we got. Today is Sunday,
I'm
May
ashamed.
2nd, and the Portuguese F1 Grand Prix happened today.
Hey, Lewis.
Ryan, did you watch?
I watched the tail. I was on vacation this weekend, so you can only imagine the state I was in this morning.
Fair.
But I woke up in time to catch the end of it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So Lewis won again.
On fire.
They were actually faster than Red Bull this time around. Bottas has been having a rough season. I'll say that. He had a chance to keep Verstappen behind him, but he slipped out of the pits, and
From what I saw,
it's going to be a tough year.
it was not a great race, except for what the fuck is his name? God damn it, Ryan. Sergio has had a great run. Like Lewis Hamilton needs to win all of them so that my hot take on who the best driver of all time is I can just Steph Curry will stay. That one will go.
Lewis Hamilton's the greatest driver of all time.
To be seen. But Sergio Perez had a hell of a race. So Red Bull collectively is the best team. They just don't have the best driver.
No, they're not the best team. What? Hell no.
The Verstappen Perez pairing is going to be very good.
It's not better than Lewis and Bottas, even though Bottas is having a bad year.
You see what I'm saying? I'm saying
But
right
so is
now,
Perez.
he showed a completely different driver.
Come on,
today,
man.
is
One
what
good
I'm saying.
race. One good race.
Has Bottas had a good race this year?
Yes.
I haven't seen it. Wasn't today.
Has Sergio Perez ever been leading like pole? Did he ever get a pole this year?
Remains to be seen.
Oh, okay. Okay. I also want to make note. KDot, your guy, Fernando Alonso.
Fuck is that my guy?
Oh, I thought you liked him. Or was that you, Ryan?
I've never heard that name before in my life.
Fernando Alonso?
Yeah,
Really?
No, I'm joking. I know who it is, but I've never seen.
Well, yeah, I know it is, but didn't Lady Gaga write a song about him?
What? I don't know. All right, so
Is it Fernando?
fuck's sake. All right, never mind. Fuck it. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's our Formula One take because we can't get through it.
Why? No. I was trying to figure out the Fernando. Why are you attributing me to Fernando Alonso?
I thought you liked him because he was in NASCAR.
Oh, that's why.
And then he came back. There. Yeah.
Who's he drive for? Is it Alpine?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, he had a pretty sweet overtake during the race. I just wanted to bring that up because I wasn't expecting much from him, but yeah, that was great.
So I want to shout out real quick since we're talking about F1. This past weekend I was hanging out with a couple of my buddies up in Hershey, and Emily. I don't know how we got into this conversation, but she was telling us she's married her hall pass. And she's like, yeah, he's an F1 driver. And I was like, hold up, what? It's Daniel Ricciardo. Yeah.
Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah. She's like, yeah.
She watched Drive to Survive, didn't she?
If I ever see him anywhere in the world, I'm just dropping panties. And I was like,
yeah.
Because I didn't know.
The Australian guy. Yeah.
I didn't know that most people don't watch F1 in the States. And this.
Well, I have to say, a lot of people are watching are getting into Formula One from the Netflix series Drive to Survive. Like that's how I got my wife into it too.
Is this something I should be watching?
You haven't seen it?
I've never heard of this.
Oh, it's fucking amazing. It's the background. It's the backstage like pass for the whole season.
Oh yes, I want that.
Yes.
Why does that come up on like?
How do you not see this? Like there's like a couple seasons.
90% of my For You is sports, and then like
that's
polar bear documentary.
I need to watch this shit tonight. This shit's great. Like the first season, Mercedes wasn't part of it, but then after that, Mercedes was.
What channel?
And the shit was great. It's Netflix.
Check it out. I'm just saying about
really good.
My hall passes are female former secretaries of state, like Madeleine Albright.
Ooh.
All right, look. All right. I would feel bad
Condi Rice.
Like, fam. I actually never mind.
Hillary Rodham Clinton. I think my dick will fall
out. Hillary Rodham Clinton. Hey you.
Hey Dot, are you serious? Because I have a connect.
With who? With who? Which one?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I can bang a former Secretary of State, I think we'll be all right.
All right. Well, I mean, we'll talk after this.
Can I sit in the closet with a typewriter taking notes?
It's got to be a typewriter.
What is wrong with you guys?
How funny would that be?
Don't kink shame.
I had a response, but I can't say it. I had a response, but I can't say it. All right. So that was our episode.
Can I do final thoughts first?
Yep, I know. Go ahead.
Oh, you know. Great.
Yeah, because it was on the list.
Oh, right. I was about to go with something else. I'll go back to what
I'm glad.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey.
So I've been bothering the guys for months now at this point. Like I'll
fucking years.
Yeah. Babe Ruth is the greatest baseball player of all time. I don't think there's shut up. This is my final thought. He's the greatest baseball player of all time. Number one. Number two, the one thing that anybody right now listening to this has any pushback on Babe Ruth being the greatest baseball player of all time is that they think he's white. But I'm here to let you know, Babe Ruth was black as shit. Like, I'm not going to steal Marrow, the great Marrow from Deez and Marrow's take, which is that Babe Ruth is Dominican. I mean, with a name like Babe, Dominican really does seem like it's natural. But I'm not going that. I'm going black. And look, there are some things historically when you read a lot of the books about Babe Ruth growing up, about he had his wide nose and the thick lips, and they called him the N-word here and there.
From Baltimore,
like
Baltimore.
Did you see a lot of those photos? There's even a photo of his dad at I think whatever shop he owned, and you're kind of like, I mean, come on,
John.
Like there's right. So it's like, look. If you're feeling guilty about saying Babe Ruth's the greatest baseball player of all time, don't, because he's black. What do they call? What was it? Barnstorming back in the way back when, where you had the league, the major league would play, kind of like we saw about the Super League. But a lot of the Major League Baseball players during the off season, they'd still go and play baseball all around the country. And Babe was one of those dudes that would go and play with a lot of the black players. And apparently, word is that Yeah, he was giving the black players the same fucking smoke that he was giving the white players. Like, but they all respected him. And even in New York, he was known as a mainstay in Harlem, going to some of the churches in Harlem, doing it. The dude was down. Not to mention, he also wanted to be a manager in baseball. And the reason that word is that he didn't get it was that it was a known fact that he would have had black players on his team. There was nothing that's going to stop him from doing that because you couldn't stop Babe Ruth from having black players on his team. But he was
stop Babe Ruth.
Bingo. But I think when you really look at the stats and show as just baseball player, if you look at what he can do as a fucking pitcher, and then realize that all of his hitting stats come after 5 or 6 years of him pitching, the motherfucker is insane. It wasn't close. And the thing that I always go to as far as the Barry Bonds thing, if Barry Bonds, instead of juicing up, ate 12 hot dogs and drank 6 beers before each game like Babe did, you're not seeing Barry Bonds, okay? And if Babe Ruth had the same access to the doctors and the trainers and so this, that, and the other. Here's the thing. He might not do it because he probably preferred eating hot dogs and drinking beer. But if he bought into the system, the dude would have been great regardless of the era. Look, I've said on here that I want to compare guys from certain eras. But usually you can still have the one guy in each league that I think is that universal guy that everybody says is the GOAT. Basketball, it's Jordan. Football, it's Sammy Baugh. And in baseball, it is Babe motherfucking Ruth.
It is not.
If you say anything different, you just don't know. But now you know because I told you. That's a good bit. That's a good bit. If you didn't know, now you know because I told you. That's KDot's new line. I got a catchphrase, motherfucker. There we go.
You better patent that shit before.
I'm about to patent shit out of that. I'm about to make t-shirts.
You better hear it before it come out. All right, Ryan, do you want to go?
Now you're aware.
All right, Ryan, you want to go?
Oh God. So the basketball season's almost over. How'd that happen? The Wizards were playing really well. Take a couple off days. But I still don't understand how the playing game works. But I'm one of those people who I'm like, I'm not going to look into it because I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch them and they'll explain them to me while I watch.
I can help you.
I think that we're going into playoffs in basketball and playoffs in hockey. So it's about to be my favorite time of the year where I will have almost all my sports going and 2 championship sportses going on. The Mets are obviously in the playoff. I mean, the Caps are obviously in the playoffs. And they will have fans back in the arena. So I'm going to go to a game. And when the game's over and they're like, Mr. Harold, you have to leave now, I will tell them,
I'm not fucking leaving.
I'm not fucking leaving.
Oh my God.
So I might be podcasting from a suite inside Cap One Arena. We'll
Ryan's got his catchphrase. James, where's your catchphrase?
I'm emotional. You just let go.
I think your catchphrase should be Mayweather.
Yeah. No, my catchphrase is y'all some bitches.
All right, that works. You use that most times.
All right, so I'm sorry, Alex Leatherwood. I was very emotional, as all the Raiders fans were. But I just wanted a safety, bruh. But we got one. We got the one I wanted. So we're all good. You're a Raider now. Like
the league bailed you bitches out. Because now you get to pretend you flip draft picks. And it just makes it work.
But I mean, like, I don't believe it, but you hear all the stories now coming out that the Ravens were going to take him. He is the best run blocking tackle or lineman in the draft.
It wasn't a ridiculous pick.
Yeah, and then like when you think about it,
it was just the name.
The last few like years at the end of the season, we could not run the fucking ball at all. That's why we were losing. We couldn't run the ball. And it's like we had the people there and we just couldn't run the ball. So, I mean, like Trent Brown, like you're good when you're playing, but you're never playing and you're never working really. So you're working all season to show us that you're working. And then after that, like whatever. But good luck in New England. Hopefully everybody else. Yeah.
Brady's gone. I hate the Patriots.
You sound like somebody else I know.
They're going to win a Super Bowl in 2 years.
No, they're not.
Okay.
They literally picked up Tom Brady 2.0 if you look at their physiques.
Oh my god.
Winners.
That man walked
Winners
to the fucking podium. That man walked to the podium like he was the manager of the store.
Oh, sorry. Are you done with your final thought?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Ryan, the video that you sent, Gilly and what's the comedy bit about the segregation football?
Yeah.
I've watched every single one of their skits. It is the funniest shit I've seen in a very long time. I wish I could remember the name. But goddamn, that shit was good. And it actually just reminded me about this Mac Jones photo. There was like
it's Cam inverted or something like that?
No, hold on. What?
There's one of him standing next to Cam Newton with his shirt off. It's like they literally drafted inverse Cam Newton. Because he's a big doughboy with a cigar in his mouth. I love him. He's gonna work out just fine.
All right, but regardless, I think we're here at the end, and just want to let everybody know that the Well, first off, after I say I have 2 catchphrases, but after I say this secondary catchphrase, we should stay on for just 30 seconds, just a little powwow, okay?
All right, cool.
But the Death Star do go boom, and if you didn't know, now you know, because I told you.
The fuck.